So I love monetization, okay? I'm obsessed with it. Everybody who I meet, I'm like, let me help you to monetize. Have you guys ever seen those little live videos that I do from up here where I just talk in the camera for maybe an hour? What do you guys think those bring into my company every time I do a quick little video like that? They're only seen by it's only about 10,000 people see it. My average live broadcast is about 10,000 views. What do you think that brings into I don't pocket it, but what do you guys think that brings into the company when I do that on average? Take a guess. Quick little live video in an hour. What do you think it brings in? I've had some that have brought in over 6 figures. Typical, I don't know, like maybe an average one is like, 25K kind of thing, right? So, you do 2 of them a week. It's like, maybe, what is that? Like maybe 200,000 a month just to work like, a couple lives kind of thing. You see what I'm saying, right? Just a quick way to bring it in. Does that make sense, right? Okay, so why is it that when I do 10,000 people on a live, I can bring in that kind of cash, but then some YouTube guy has all these followers, and then they're making peanuts, and they're living in a studio apartment. They got millions of followers. Can you guess?
There's nothing on the back end. They don't have anything.
Yeah, I mean, what is Google Ads going to pay somebody on like 1 million views? 1,000 to 7,000. Okay, so you see these guys that are doing all these views. Maybe they're making like 10K a month, 20K a month. Maybe they're making like 100K a month, but they're not making real money because of the fact that they're stuck in that kind of grind, right? So what you do instead is you just make a digital product. You make a badass digital product, and then you just go make videos about it, and you sell it. Maybe your digital product is $297, and then you just make videos about it, and you sell it. Now, the way that you do this, and here's how I do it, and I think, and this is what nobody tends to focus on, people tend to go overboard, in my view, looking at thumbnails and titles, rather than looking at actual quality of what it is that you're doing. So in my spare time, what do you guys think I'm thinking about in the vast majority of my spare time?
Thumbnails and titles.
Of course, yeah. What else? You can tell by how great my thumbnails are. Okay, what am I thinking about?
The actual quality of content.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is how to help you, okay? Is there any of you guys in this room are like, it is shocking how much Owen is in my head, understands what I'm dealing with, gives me the exact answers I need. It's like he's some kind of fucking oracle. Do you guys ever feel that way? It's not that I'm more intelligent than you. It's that all that I do all day long is think about what it is that you're thinking, okay? And you guys ever been out with me to a bar or club and you watch me work or a bar or club and you just see like the most insane possible responses?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, why am I able to walk out into a bar or club, go walk up to anybody, and if I want to generate a positive response, I can do that consistently? What's going on there? What am I doing that you're not doing? I'm just thinking about women and what they want all the time. That's all that I'm doing. That's it. I'm just like, what do they want? And then I'm just thinking about that, and not what they are being like, I want this and that. No. Like, I'm observing the responses in real time, okay? So that's all that I'm doing. So when I go up, I know exactly what I'm doing is I'm doing something called, I'm creating hyper-palatability. Say that word, hyper-palatable. Okay, so what marketers did with high fructose corn syrup is they figured out how to get every single possible good taste right on your taste bud for dirt cheap. That's hyper-palatability, okay? You can do that with things like attraction. You can just become hyper-palatable, okay? So my content is hyper-palatable for you if you struggle with things like trying to generate money from scratch, how to build relationships, how to get spiritually tapped in, how to live a fun life. I've created it to be hyper-palatable. Then what I've done is I've got the content to the highest level that I can, and then what I did was I created solutions that will take it to a higher level so that I'm either giving rapid fire solutions to fix problems or I'm generating experiences, okay? I just got into Detroit, Michigan. I'm looking for something of a landmark to make a quick video to let you know that I'm here running an event this weekend. Wait, maybe that's a Detroit landmark. It's a little circle, look. It's a little circle. I'm here in Detroit, I came to Detroit. Wait, look at this. Okay, that's gonna be our landmark. Okay, let's go. So guys, I came to Detroit. I've wanted to come here for a long time to run an event. It's my first time here. I'm here, I'm in Detroit, proof. And what I'm gonna be doing Saturday and Sunday is a 2 full day free event. It's a seminar. All you've gotta do is just click the link. Now, when you come, totally for free, what's gonna wind up happening is I'll be up on stage during a large part of it, doing what I do here on this channel. That said,
You got to understand that when you're seeing the videos here on this channel, that is the least of what we do at a free event, the least of it. What we also do is bring you up on stage and get you doing public speaking. We do a field trip to the bars and clubs at night. Are we going out in the Greek District? We'll be going out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, I wind up helping you to build a mastermind group of other like-minded individuals and to help you get tapped into what it is that would help you to make money, help you to do things like sales pitches, give you a lot of personal feedback. These are the things that you don't see posted here online at a free event. If you're from Windsor, if you're from London, Ontario, if you're in Toronto, if you're in Ottawa, Montreal, just shoot a little drive up here. Driving is fun. Come and see me. Or if you're anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, we'll have an event this weekend. In addition, I also have an event coming up in Denver, Colorado. Much like Detroit, probably the last time I'll ever be in Denver. Then Honolulu. Then we're going to be hitting up New York City, Boston, DC, Austin, Houston, Dallas, Minnesota. I'm coming to Minneapolis too. So the bottom line is this. If you want to be out at a free event, just click the damn link, fly in, get out here. It'll be the best thing you ever do in your life, I promise you. And I give you my word, you will leave at a quantum leap level from when you came in, okay? Money-wise, social skill-wise, communication-wise, spiritually, it will be a quantum leap. Best teaching you'll find anywhere in the world. I would bet that you could not find a better event for any price better than the free event. So if you want to change your life, click this link. I'm up here in Detroit, and I'll see you at the freebie. It'll be a lot of fun. Peace.
So this event up here, would you say this business seminar is more of a experience or a solution for you?
Solution.
I'd actually argue both. Coming up to the mansion, meeting me in person, meeting each other, that's a bucket list item. You're experiencing a bucket list item right now. So we're generating an experience, right, which people want to have great experiences, but what we're simultaneously doing is also we're generating solutions, okay? So I'm trying to generate solutions for you guys. So if you guys look at the products that I created, look at, for example, real life social interaction footage, okay? Like what could be a better solution than not just having a podcast talking about social dynamics, but actually seeing the real life version, just seeing it. So that's what I said to myself. How can I make a solution where I just solve the damn problem? I mean, if you guys look at some of my old digital products, can you conceive of a better solution? Because I can't. If you look at those products, look what was in there. You had hours of real life interaction footage. Then you had exercise stuff where literally I'm breaking down all the different students and showing all their weaknesses and strengths and breaking it down with like a fine-tooth comb. So I'm showing examples. Then I have missions and exercises. Then I used to have a mastermind group as a part of it. Then we would have Zoom calls as a part of it. So, I mean, how much better could you do for a $297 product than that? You just think about every single possible thing to solve the problem as rapidly as possible. And you go, look, do you want to solve it or not? Okay? Like for $297, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to go out for 20 fucking years, and then I'm going to master the skill set, and then I'm going to show you every single thing with real life footage. Then I'm going to do breakdowns on different students and show all these little fine-combed ways of them improving their communication. Then I'm going to give you missions that you can go and do. Then I'm going to create a mastermind group. Then I'm going to give you feedback over Zoom. Like, what else is there? What could I do within budget? Within a budget of $297, how much more can I put in there? There's nothing more that you can put. Okay? So I did what's called an irresistible offer. Say that word, irresistible offer. Irresistible offer. Yeah, that's a phrase promoted and pushed hard by who? Who pushes that phrase hard? Alex Ramosi. Excellent. Okay? Remember the book $100 Million Offers? Yes. Okay. Now, let's look at my live trainings. Okay, is there a better live training on social skills than I will go out for 20 years. Then I will take you out. I will show it directly in front of you. Then I will break it down how I did it. Then I will make you go do it. Then I will give you feedback. Then I will get your friends to give you feedback. Then I'll show you your strengths. And then we're just going to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it until you can do it. So now I can justifiably say to you, do you want to solve this or not? Like, look, if you want to solve it from home at a cheaper price point, grab the digital. If you want to solve it in person, that is more expensive because there's only so much bandwidth. Like, you don't want me to have a training for $297 because there'd be 10,000 people there. So you understand that intuitively, right? You don't want to have a fancy watch that everybody else has. You want to watch that not everybody else has. So you made a great product, okay? So now let's look at the funnel, how this goes. It's not rocket science. What you do is you make videos where you study an area extensively and you make it your complete psychotic obsession for many, 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 many years. Pick something, motherfucker. Okay, everyone's like, you're so lucky you like found what makes you passionate. No, motherfucker, I made myself passionate, okay? I could also jerk off using my hand and think it's a pussy, okay? It's not really a pussy. It's my hand. It's a man's hand. I can fuck my own hand, okay? I fucked my hand thousands of times, okay? I'm really good at fucking my own hand and convincing myself I had sex, and all of you are too. So if you can fuck your own hand, then you can convince yourself that any stupid shit that you're passionate about it. Do you get it? Okay? Passion is a self-generated function. It's a combination of, yes, something that you like, but it's not gonna tickle you. Look, you think you're ever gonna be married to somebody, and when you first get your new girlfriend, you're like, damn, like, I can't believe I'm fucking this girl. This is insane. You know, it's novel, right? What's gonna happen after you've been banging her for 8 years? It's not novel anymore, right? So, but you can be in love with your wife after 8 years. You can be more in love with her and more excited to fuck your wife after 15 years than you were from the day you met her. You actually could be. But how would that happen? Are you like, oh, holy shit, it's my wife again. We're gonna fuck for the 9,000th time. Is that gonna happen? What's gonna generate the passion? It's your own investment and self-generated passion into your wife. So you're not even gonna be able to raise kids if you don't understand this, by the way. You're not even gonna be able to raise your own kids if you don't have that concept. Now, does that mean you just pick any old wife? No. You pick one that you're super into, but then you also have to self-generate the passion. If you're just waiting for this thing to come tickle you, you're fucking delusional. I mean, think about all the relationships you've been in where you thought you found the perfect person, and then it turned out not to be perfect, right? You didn't, and if you didn't choose to keep investing and building into it, the passion went away. There's a great book by Seth Godin called The Dip. It's called The Dip, the little book on when to quit. That's when you should quit. Largely what most of you should do is pick something before you leave tonight. And that's just your thing. You just get obsessed with it, you become a master of it, and all the rewards come when you become the top 1% at it. And you'll beat all these motherfuckers because they think that they're operating off passion, right? And they're like, that's why everyone gets divorced, that's why everyone breaks up, that's why everybody leaves their business, that's why they quit. I'm just not passionate about it anymore. There is nothing that you're gonna be passionate about all the time. Well, I think that me and like this girl or this guy, like, you know, we don't see eye to eye on this. Look, there's certain deal breakers, but there's no one that you're gonna see eye to eye with on anything. Back in the day in the 1800s, you could marry Pete. If you're a girl, you marry Peter, Paul, or Stan. Take your pick. Peter's gonna beat the shit out of you, but he's got a bigger farm. Okay, Stan is not gonna beat the shit out of you, but you know, he has a smaller farm, right? And then this guy in the middle, you know, he'll only yell at you, but he has like some cows, okay? And you just pick one, and then you just made it fucking work, and then there was no divorce, and everybody was kind of happy, but at least they weren't fucking miserable like now. Because people are miserable fucking now. And you're gonna have the first generation of like cat ladies and fucking incel dudes, like all this shit. There's gonna be products for these motherfuckers and AI and sex robots. And like, you know, they're not even gonna have to learn how to fucking come to their hand. They're gonna have robots and shit. But the point is, some of the guys I coach are working on this shit. But what I'm getting at here is like, you have to make it, you know, if you don't want to wind up as one of these freaks, then you have to make a choice to have sustained passion over an extended period of time is really what it is that you're working with, okay? Now, from there, you get passionate about the topic, and then you start putting out content about it. Do you guys think that I was chasing the algorithm all the years that I put out content? I put out a video about me interviewing homeless people today. That's not me chasing the algorithm. People happen to like the interview. It was a very interesting interview. But the point is, I'm not chasing the algorithm, okay? You can do some chasing of the algorithm. For example, you can, say, okay, like this is trending. You know, I could do a little tweak on this and make it to where it would make sense that I would use a title and thumbnail. I think some of that has a place because it's kind of like doing the radio single on your album. You want something that can connect to a broader audience potentially. I think that does make sense. But overall, I wasn't chasing the algorithm. I was going out every single day from a place of just loving the topic. But again, I don't love the topic just because it tickles me. I chose to love that topic. And I'm putting energy into it, and then I'm getting something back. And I wanted to always to be the best. That was always my goal. I'm like, I will be the best at this. Like, if there's anyone better than me, I'm not there to tear them down. I'm there to learn from them, and I'm willing to put in more hours to get better than they are. And I did that out of respect to the people that paid me money. I viewed that as an obligation to the people that paid me. That if I could do better, I should do better if they're paying me. It was just an obligation. I didn't have to like think about it, like dwell on it, and like all this kind of bullshit. It was like that was just what you owe them, is to give the best that you can within the budget that you have. That's just how I saw it. So you pick something, you get very passionate, you pump out content, and then as you're pumping out content, you should have a phenomenal low ticket offer. It could be Alex Ramosi has a thing called School that's working well for a lot of people. That's like a cheap, well, oftentimes a cheap recurring billing thing where people just pay you month by month and you create a community. Super dope. Maybe you do a low ticket product like $297. Amazing. You can make millions off those. Or you do a high ticket thing, which would be like maybe $5K. A lot of people do $50 or $100K, by the way. I have $100K clients, not unusual. So, you can do that as well. But you just make something that's a no-brainer. Okay? Make the product that you wish you had. When I was learning dating when I was younger, I look up these books like Dating for Dummies. I'm like, man, this sucks. And look, I appreciate every book I ever read, and I appreciate every author that ever wrote it, so I'm not being mean, but it wasn't what I need. It wasn't sufficient for my needs. I would read it. It didn't get me anywhere. So I would have killed to have things like that for me. People will say to me at age 45, they see me go out, and they see me still getting better every year, so much better every year. It's insane how much my skill set grows. And they're like, well, how can you enjoy doing this at 45? I'm like, I charge people money for this. Are you joking? Are you, like, how much of a fucking narcissist are you that I have a choice whether or not I like this and to get to continue it? What world is this that you live in? It's like these people that think they're gonna find their soulmate, right? It's like they meet a great person, they get along like 99%, but like, well, but there's this one problem, then they leave. They're perpetually single, they don't have kids. It's like a depopulation agenda, right? No, if you wanna have a family, find someone that's like 80% good and like just put the fucking love into them, and like someone that's stable. Like someone like 80% your ideal, who's like stable and trustworthy and is not gonna like ditch the kids and ditch you and fuck you over and create fucking hell, but has good values, and then work with them and become better with them, okay? It's partnership. You have to add that into it. So for me, I was very masturbatory. I added the passion into what it was that I was doing, to the point that I'm so enthusiastic about it, it's indistinguishable from just if it's real passion, okay? So you have to just like get obsessed with what it is that you're doing, and then from there, as you're doing that, get amazing at communication. Just say, you know what? Like in my case, I was so obsessed and am so obsessed with communication that I made free events all over the country. Why did I make free events all over the country? Because by doing it completely for free, I have the ability to go practice getting better as a public speaker so that when I come into a paid event, I'm prepared. So why do I do free events? To prepare for a fucking paid event. Why? So I can be a better speaker for the people who fucking pay me. So that's why I do a free event. So I would do free events and I would get there at 11 a.m. and I'd run them until 7 a.m. Now people say that's too much. No, that's not too much. People are fucking paying you money. So if you do that, you can build stamina by doing it for longer. And look, I'm really good at sales. I'm so good at sales, it borders into a little psycho, okay? Like, you guys have all seen me do sales, right? You guys ever just watch me do sales and you're like it's almost like watching that kid who's a little too good at pool and he just cleans the table. You guys have watched me clean out entire rooms, right? You guys ever see me do it? What's it like watching me just clean a room out? Yeah, and what's crazy is I clean rooms out when 99.9% of the seminar is all just content. And it's not even upsell-based content. It's not like you need a mastermind and you need a coach and you need a mentor. Like, it's real content. And then I'll do sales for about 2 to maybe 6 minutes out of a 40-hour event. There's 6 minutes of sales, and I clean out the room. Like that kid that's a little too good at pool and just clears the thing. I was like, and you're like, you're not even fun to play with. Like, fuck you. That's what I'm like with sales. Why do you think I'm so good at sales? Yes, I read Dan Kennedy. Hermosi's a great contemporary. John Carlton. Yes, I studied internet marketing for maybe about 3 years. After I studied internet marketing for 3 years and made my first couple $1 million, you know what I did? I stopped studying internet marketing and I stopped studying sales. And what I basically just did was I took the general templates of sales and marketing, like just the broad stroke understanding that we could show you in like an hour. I took the broad stroke understanding and I added the missing piece that almost no marketer adds. It's called sincerity. And that's not me going, oh, sincerity. There's actual sincerity, which is called, listen, you fucking moron. I studied this shit for so fucking long. I put in so many fucking hours. If you don't do this with me, you're limiting your life. Your life's not gonna be as good as it could have been if you don't come and work with me. And when you can say that with congruence, because look, if you look at me, like when I was younger, like I looked a lot happier than now in some ways, right? Like you ever notice I'm older, I look a little more tired and cranky like a grandpa? You ever see that? I look like a cranky grandpa. You know what that is? I just worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And what happened was that allowed me to raise, like I put my family and you guys a little bit before myself, which is what men are supposed to do. Okay, men are supposed to look a little bit cranky. Like I don't hire non-cranky looking staff. What, you think I'm gonna hire one of these like law of attraction staff? Like a big smile? Hell no, the guy's got too big, like that guy with the $1 million smile, that's the guy that's gonna bang your girlfriend and not work. Your girlfriend's gonna fuck him because she's delusional and thinks that a guy who's happy like that is a higher value male because she doesn't know what real work is. And then from there, he's not gonna put in any hours, right? So you should look a little bit mad, you know, not overly mad. I have a lot of joy in my life too. I've had more joy than ever in many ways. But guys, it's okay to go into the red line a little bit. It's okay to go in the red line, okay? Like, it's okay to make yourself a bit tired. It's okay to push yourself. I would do public speaking until my voice went out. You guys ever see me on a free tour when I just ran it just till my voice went out? And then you see me at the end, you're like, Owen, what's up? And I'm like, oh, like that, like I just can't talk, right? So I did that so that I could be the best I could be. And because I'm the best I could be, when I do a sale, what does it look like? If I say, I'm not doing this right now, so don't listen to me. If I go, get up, go to the back of the room, sign up. What does that look like congruence-wise out of 10? You need to sign up. You're gonna make, look at me, watch this. You're gonna make less money in your life if you don't sign up. If you don't take ongoing programs with me and pay me a shitload of money, you're gonna make less money. No matter how much money you pay me, even if you pay me a lot, maybe up to a certain point of diminishing returns, but pretty high up, you're probably limiting yourself. I can't guarantee that. I'm not promising that, but in my view, just personally, I think that's a likely result, and that's based on what I've seen. So you should work with me a lot more. You should be working with me more. Do you want to team up with me? Do you see me as like some little YouTube figure, or am I somebody that you want to personally team up with and let me help your life? What do you want? What's your vision for our relationship? Do you have a vision that I'd help you? Do you have a vision that if I help you, your life is going to expand dramatically? Troy, how much has your life expanded from working with me? A massive amount.
Massively, in multiple areas.
Okay, so do I back up my talk?
1000%.
Okay, how much has your life expanded from working with me?
I make so much more money.
Like, how much more money would you attribute from having worked with me that you have extra in your life?
Right now it's 2x, and I know it's going to increase by a lot more just doing that.
Okay, so if I made you 2x the money, then can I feel good about saying it's a good idea to take my training?
Earlier, when you were saying you were doing your pitch, my cortisol just went up. I just felt more stressed from you saying that because I know it's true. You've done it over and over and over again. So you saying that, I'm like, shit, I need to spend more money.
Yeah, that's what it does because it's fucking true. That's the thing is like, part of my biggest flaw in my sales is sometimes I'll be at the back of the room with a guy and he sees he's not about to sign up and I start getting mad at him and I start feeling offended that I even have to explain it. But it's like this guy doesn't even know me that well yet. Like I got to slow down and try to explain it to him. Like, you know, part of me just wants to be like, are you fucking, like, you want me to explain this to you? Like, are you serious? And then I almost just want to get up and walk off. I look pissed off and I take it personal. But I got to remember, like, this guy may not know me well yet, so I've got to take the time to get to know him. But do you see what I'm saying about why I don't have to study as much sales and marketing as most people? Guys, think about this. Why do I not need to study as much sales and marketing to monetize as most people?
Your self-belief is on a completely different level. You have absolute self-belief that you're talking to someone and you know, and you're desperate, you're angry, you have that passion in there, and you're not manufacturing it. It's just coming out of you, it's oozing out of you. Like, why the hell are you not working with me?
Yeah, and it's like, I built this for you. I built it, it's built. Take it, just take it. You know, and I feel like a tinge of pity, you know? So the thing is like, if you can get to that point, you don't need to be amazing at sales and marketing. I don't need to sit there looking like, when's the CTA come in? Am I using a man's voice or a woman's voice? And, like what different features and benefits does it have? Like, I don't need to do that because I believe in the product. But the way that you do it is you become obsessed with the product or obsessed with a topic. You get better at communicating the topic. You get better at creating content about the topic. Then you don't need to be the best right away, but you find something that you're like into, but then you self-manufacture the passion. Then what you do is you make content about it. Over time, you're gonna get into like thumbnails and titles because you're gonna want to reach more people. That's fine. But you're not just this empty Hollywood person chasing the algorithm, chasing the next easy scam, but you love what it is that you do, so there's depth there. That begins to attract people that appreciate it. They're like, finally, a breath of fresh air. Like, someone actually gives a fuck about me and is just in their little ego trip or trying to get their own passive income stream, okay? You don't see me bragging. I mean, maybe I do, but you don't see my main point of bragging as passive income, okay? I guess I've talked about it, try to convince you guys to do it. My main passion is the passion itself. So once you have that down, then you create a great, cheap, maybe monthly recurring. You maybe make a really good digital. You make a really good live event. And then make it an experience. Plus, if you're the person they love to follow, how cool is that to meet them? Man, I love meeting Eckhart Tolle. Do you know how cool it is just sit there with Eckhart? It's fucking gangster. It's really, really cool. And he's just some guy that sat on a park bench and wrote a book about it. But damn, that guy's passionate about sitting on a park bench. So if Eckhart can write a book about how to sit on a park fucking bench, I think that you can figure out what it is that you like to do as well. So that, and then you make it fun and you actually enjoy courting a bit of attention and being creative and making it interesting for people. Now what you've done is, let's look at the combination. Pick something now. That's number one. Self-generate the passion, or pick something you're 80% passionate about, but all things fade, and get really good at self-generating the passion. Feel a sense of gnawing obligation to your clients to serve them at the highest level possible as a duty that you have. That way it's not like, well, isn't that getting old? Like, what are you on some fucking stupid ass spiritual journey where just one day you're a painter, next day you draw cartoons, next day you like collect rocks or something? Like, what planet, what have we gotten to? Like, where are we societally that we think that's okay or normal? That is what rich housewives in Malibu do while they do ketamine therapy or MDMA therapy, which they believe is connecting them to God. They believe that like some pill made in a lab that's been cut by a bunch of druggies in whatever microwave in vans, 15 different ways that's not even MDMA anymore. They think that they're connecting to God through some fucking pill from a dude's van who they zelled $200 to. They zelled some guy $200 and they connected to God. Okay? They zelled a guy that face tattoo $200, they connected to God. And they believe this shit. And there's always someone to tell you a fucking lie that'll pander to you. In fact, I'd recommend that the Rich Housewives of Malibu would be a great niche, to be honest with you. You could also sell them aura photographs. You could sell them, why like everything happened for a reason, and they're not really in control, and they're all just part of some divine destiny, and it's all happening for them, and like all this kind of stuff. And you can feed them whatever they want to hear that puts them more of a flow state because they're addicted to flow state, right? And then they can get sold stuff about how if they just raise their vibe, everything's going to change, which is funny because the best lies are based in truth. Raising your vibe is massive, but it's not the only thing. And so that's why they take that lie and they eat it with a spoon, okay? In the real world, okay, real world business people, they create something fucking outstanding. They do it within a budget. They do it within a price point that they can sell it at. They do the best they can within the budget that they can sell it at, and they have great marketing behind it, okay? So content-based marketing and long-form-based marketing is when you can sit there and you can talk and wax poetically about something, and you want to be like a motherfucking poet with this shit, okay? So you want to be at the point where, like, I'm so passionate about social skills, it can bring a tear to my eye. So you got to be able to speak passionately about it as an adventure, as a part of growth, as a part of a larger grand scheme, as part of a larger grand plan would be a better word. But you've got to understand that you've got to be able to speak about that. If you're into things like, hunting, you've got to be able to speak about hunting, about getting back to nature and the way it awakens the senses and the experience that you're having while out there. So you become an ambassador for what it is that you're talking about. You're the most passionate about it. Okay, what you do is you spend a lot of time doing free events, free meetups, free groups, and you're engaging with a list on an ongoing basis. And then now you can speak into their problems. Like, I should be able to look at every single one of you and anticipate just by your vibe and energy, what kind of problems you have, what kind of problems I can solve for you. And then in sales and marketing, what you do is you learn how to talk about the problems and show a solution to exactly what they're dealing with. An example would be one of my old mentors, Evan Pagan. He's originally called David D'Angelo. He saw that a lot of people were mimicking him as far as creating info products, right? So a lot of guys that took his courses for dating realized that creating info products is amazing. So they started mimicking him. And a lot of them got to around $1 million a year in revenue, but they were capped. Evan Pagan's one of the few people that got to $20 million a year in revenue. So what Evan wound up doing was he said, look, if you're anywhere from $1 to $10 million a year in revenue, I will show you the things that I had to learn to get you to 20 million and beyond. I will show you my systems. And he clearly had the result because you saw it in his dating products. So now you're sitting there stuck at $1 million, and the guy who you modeled that after is selling that right now. What could he sell that program for? Any guesses? What it was a program called Get Altitude. What did he sell that for? What would you say?
It's very new, so a lot of money.
He sold it for $10,000 to sit in and attend on it. Then he sold the digital for 10, I think. Now, if it's $10,000 and he fills that with 500 people, what's he get? 10 grand, 500 people. Do the math. Remember, this is your opportunity. Do the math.
5 million.
You got $5 million in a couple of days. Then he goes and sells another, I don't know, probably sold 5,000 units of Get Altitude at 10,000 a pop. What do you make from that? 5,000 times 10,000. Do the math.
50 million.
I wouldn't be surprised if he made that. Because he showed the result. He found a problem people have. He showed the result visually by showing it. And then he said, I'll solve it for you. You better believe I wanted to go to that. You think I'm not going to give him the money? I'm lining up to give him the money. Because he spoke into a problem that was pressing. So what happens is that as you do this, you find all these other cool formats, right? So you guys saw me do a million different formats over the years. Seminar formats, outdoor video blog type formats, breakdowns, live broadcasts, short videos, long videos, meditation type videos, right? So you start playing with the different formats. So you become creative with it. So as you're doing this all the time, you're also gonna get better at shooting videos. You get better as a public speaker. This, in my view, is what schools should be teaching to kids. It should be to the point that every single person, whatever it is that they're good at, they get good on social media. If you have kids and they're running a bakery, if they're chiropractors, if they're doctors, if they're car repairmen, if they're watch salesmen, they should have some kind of social media where they're putting the word out. They should be using social media tools. Social media, what it did was repeat this after me, it removed the gatekeeper. Say that.
Removed the gatekeeper.
Say it louder.
Remove the gatekeeper.
Do you understand that 15 years ago, you could not even, 15, 20 years ago, you could not even get access to something like a TV. Like you couldn't broadcast on TV. You had ABC, NBC, Fox, CBS. But now, so you couldn't get the word out. It was only just word of mouth and the newspaper. Or signs on a post. The mother of my kids, I remember I wanted her to teach Spanish. I thought it'd be a cool little part-time gig for her. So I made her a little flyer that she put on poles. And people would take the little number, you had the number and you snip it and you could grab the number off. And that's how she actually sold some Spanish tutoring, kept her busy. So that's how it used to work, right? Now what you do is you'd make a channel about tutoring Spanish. And you'd be passionate about it. You'd speak about tutoring Spanish and about how your kid, here's what you'd show. You'd show videos of you in Mexico, Spain, Argentina, South America, speaking Spanish with people, at some kind of salsa club, merengue, some kind of cool Spanish restaurant, speaking Spanish, how cool it is, people coming on talking about how speaking Spanish changed their lives, people crying about how they have a Spanish ancestry and couldn't speak Spanish, and by learning to speak Spanish, it brought them back to their motherland. It connected them to their grandparents. You show them talking to their grandparents who don't speak English, and they're sitting there in tears showing what it did for them. You talk about the history of the Spanish language, where it came from, what you're a part of, the larger vision that you're part of. You show yourself just going to fucking Home Depot and getting a little bit of help installing the shower, and not even be like, hello, senor, por favor, right? And you're like, fuck this guy. Look at this chode, Spanish chode. Fuck this guy, you know what I mean, right? And you would just literally go in there and start speaking to them, and you're laughing. You know, so you show the good version, the bad version, et cetera, right? That's called marketing. Okay, so what you do, and what you also have is something called a manifesto. Manifesto is where, and you can look up Unleashing the Idea Virus by Seth Godin talks about manifestos. Maybe you have some kind of like a video or book that shows like your approach to a problem. You show the good guy and the bad guy in this equation, right? Like in the paleo diet, you'd show, you know, this ripped guy, and then you show this, you know, out of shape guy, and you show the pros, the virtues, and the drawbacks of different approaches. Then you give your approach. You know, you have to have a manifesto as well, okay? Showing principles, showing techniques. So you get into this, okay? You get excited by it. Now, what happens when you do this? Well, what happens is you can scale, okay? You're not just trading time for dollars anymore. You can scale. So a lot of you guys in this room, you're stuck, okay? You should always be getting better at getting in front of the camera. You should get obsessed with getting in front of the camera. You can see old videos of me talking in front of a fucking plant, and we were just always in front of cameras all the time. Always be in front of the camera. Also, work on your social skills. Go out and socialize. That makes you better on camera, by the way. So, as long as you're getting better on camera, getting better at curating content, getting better at editing and releasing content, and then getting better at generating products and monetizing them, then what winds up happening is you now are in control of your money. And you know, this is the kind of like how I do it, okay? So what I do, my relationship to money is like this. I have as much money as I want for everything I want. Every single thing that I want, I have enough money for. Then what I do is if I need a little bit more money, I just turn on the tap, I just turn on the money tap, and a little bit more money comes out. That's my relationship to money. So I just take however much money I need. Okay, we need a bit more money. Okay, here, you know. Say my CFO calls me, he's like, hey, we need an extra couple $100,000 this month. Okay. Turn up the tap, more money comes out, good. Now, the question you might have is, well, if you could just turn up the tap, why don't you just turn it on all the time? Well, it's still some time and energy that goes into it, right? So you pick what you need a month to live. What would you guys like? Don't give me some aspirational bullshit. Tell me in your gut what you'd actually need to just have everything you want. Don't tell me some like, I realized that I need $1 billion so I can manifest it, law of attraction. Like, don't give me some dumb shit. Like, I'm good like maybe 100, 150K a month. I don't really need a lot more money than that. What do you guys need? Like I haven't really found ways to spend past that. I've tried. I just haven't really found ways to spend. You can buy better watches, better cars, but satisfaction will begin to diminish. Okay? So what do you need about a month to live? What would you say? 30, 40K. If you have, so what you do is you get it to where you have the money flow coming in about 30, 40K, but maybe there's a car you want, a watch you want, a house you want. Okay, well, I need that. Then I'm going to do less leisure and I'm going to focus a bit more on the money. So then you do, you know, some products, you do whatever, open up the money faucet, more money comes out, you buy what you need, and then maybe you just go back to what you did so you have a bit more free time and more time to just work on like the passion part of like the craft. So that's what I mean by the money tap. Where most people are stuck is the only way to increase the money tap is more hours. Like I had a lot more hours at work. It sucks. It really sucks. So that's where you're stuck, right? Understand my passion is anything that makes money without, what's the thing that we don't want? Gatekeeper. Say that. Gatekeeper. Okay, so in other words, ask how most rich guys that you see, the reason they're rich is because they have capital to deploy. If you have a couple $1 million to deploy and you see a good investment opportunity, you know, maybe you get that new crypto coin, you got $5 million to put in it, and then it goes up 50%, you get back $2.5 million. That's regular rich people. But if you don't have capital to deploy, how do you just magically get money? You have no capital to deploy. So there's ways of doing that Sid can teach you, such as getting other people's money to deploy and making money off that. But what I'm showing you here is a base way to make cash. So, which by the way Sid teaches gets you even more money than what I'm showing you. But what I'm showing you here will make you cash. So basically what it is like, what are some skills where you don't have any gatekeepers at all? You can just wake up fucking broke with like $1,000 in your pocket and start making money. As long as you have like a phone and a mic and a laptop. What are some things you could do? Sales, right? Why is it that anybody can make money doing sales?
There's always people everywhere.
Okay, do you have to, yeah. Do you have to go to Harvard to study sales?
No.
Right? So you can't just be a doctor, right? You can't just be an accountant, right? You have to go to school for that shit. But you don't need to go to school to do sales. So you can start sales right away. Obviously, you want to learn from sales gurus and mentors and stuff, but what I'm saying is you can start right away. There's no gatekeeper. What's another one that has no gatekeeper?
YouTube.
Social media. That's the one I'm talking about. There's no gatekeeper. You can just start today. You just start building a list now. No one's stopping you. You got a phone, you got a mic, you got a laptop. You got internet connection. You can start. You can borrow it from a friend. Okay, what else? What are some other ones? Sales and marketing, like sales copywriting. You don't need to go to Harvard to be a great sales copywriter. Okay, another one is social contacts, social capital, building connections. Another one is social skills. So anything that you can think of where any idea that you have that doesn't need investment money, you can start doing right away. Now, can you imagine how much they've invested into social media platforms so that you can come and take advantage? But they need you. They want your content. But how much have they invested into those things? How much has gone into YouTube? How much money and infrastructure is in YouTube? Type it in. Look it up.
Billions and billions.
Yeah, over nearly 2 decades, likely hundreds of billions.
Yeah.
Hundreds of billions. Cool. Yeah.
200, 300.
Yeah, some ungodly amount of money. That's the infrastructure that you have access to. They built that. There's a bunch of different platforms. So they built that to basically to brainwash people, to serve them your content with AI algorithms, all this crazy stuff. It's unethical, a lot of it, but it gets the word out, okay? So what you do is you find something without gatekeepers, and then you dive into it, and you get really, really, really good at it. So that's what I would say to you guys is pick all the skill sets that have no gatekeepers and just dominate them. So when I go to the mall and I just start selling people programs, why do I do that? I don't need to sell someone a program at the mall. I do it because if I can sell something at the mall, I can teach you to sell something at the mall, and then I can teach you something. You guys see all the after parties I've been running here on Instagram? Do I need to go out to meet people? I have to leave my house to meet people? Well, then why do I go out? Because not all of you have a mansion to do an after party in. So I can't say, I run a trading on how if you have a mansion, you do an after party. I can't sell that. Maybe to a couple rich guys, right? Which I do actually, funny enough. But the thing is, that's not my average client. So as a result of that, I still go out so I can show the average person who doesn't have a mansion after party how to do it. Okay, so just practice that stuff. So here's my main message to you. Find every single skill set where there's no gatekeeper. Get obsessed with domination over those skill sets. Make money, then you'll have capital to deploy into different investments, and that's how you get super rich. Okay? Make sense, guys? So that's how you make money from scratch. Okay? Guys, focus on me. Don't focus on the door. Okay? Look at me. Resist. Okay? Part of this is you have to have a high attention span. Actually, great other point to leave. Always be working on your attention span. That's the bigger point than anything I said this last period of time. Extended attention span is the big money maker in this day and age when everyone has no attention. Okay? So cultivate, just get better at working longer hours, longer attention span, get super obsessed with sales, marketing, social media, charisma, social skills, public speaking, whatever niche that you're in. Get obsessed with all those skills, crank it, you make a lot of cash, okay? And then you can do whatever the fuck you want. And like I said, then you just open the little faucet, the money comes out, and you're good to go, okay? Now we're gonna go to questions. You guys enjoy the talk?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it. So.